name is Tim, and this is another Real Ideal Gear Review. I'm just wrapping up the editing for this video of the Swiss watch company Bunker Field Watch. One of the great watches as far as a field watch goes. I don't know of a better one out there. I don't know all the watches that are out there, but I do know that this one is tops of the list when it comes to a field watch. The design, the overall size, the weight, the accuracy, the legibility, the LUME is outstanding. Some of the best LUME in the industry comes from the Swiss watch company. So sit back and enjoy this. There's going to be a lot of different video clips in here, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, we'll get started. The 5 things that I typically go through with a watch are size, fitment, finish, accuracy, legibility, and LUME being the 5th category. Let's start off with size. This watch is a larger case diameter, which is actually the intent. For me, one of the attractive things about this case is the larger case diameter. Everything is bigger, easier to read. This goes kind of to legibility. We'll talk about that more later. But with that larger case diameter, you're afforded more space in the dial. This is definitely a medium to large size wrist because of that larger diameter dial. And I think that's something to keep in mind. Certainly, buy whatever you want and put it on whatever wrist size you have, but just keep that in mind as far as the size of the dial. It is a thin watch. This is a high beat. I believe this is a Miyota 9000 series movement, and so it's a high beat movement, which it also affords some thinness to the case. So it's a very thin case from the profile off the top of the wrist. And I really like that as well, too, because it doesn't snag on things, clothing. If you're wearing a lot of heavier clothing, you'll see some video of me out doing a little bit of camping and hiking and getting set up for camp. And so this is really a great watch for a lot of different situations. The strap is easy to adjust. Comes with a couple of straps. One is a Velcro strap and another rubber strap. And then I put a leather strap on here recently. You'll see some photos of that as well. The Velcro strap is great. The combination of the Velcro strap and the watch and being lightweight, this is a titanium case, it's super light on the wrist. I mean, it's amazing how light this watch is. It almost feels like it's not even there. It almost actually feels like a plastic watch as far as weight goes. You know it's there because you can feel it, but it doesn't have really hardly any weight to it. So it's easy to adjust as far as size goes, especially for the Velcro strap. The Velcro strap makes me a little nervous because, it's Velcro. Velcro can get gummed up with dirt and, debris and things like that. And the hook and loop, it doesn't really stick as well as it would when it's new. So I put a leather strap on there. I like the looks of it better anyway. It's a little more sturdy as far as that goes. So I went with that. It allows for better fitment adjustments as well. So again, easy to adjust, Velcro. As far as the crown goes, it's an easy crown to grab a hold of and make adjustments. You can, it's the right size. Finish, it's a titanium, almost looks like a bead blasted finish. It's a tough outdoor watch. It has a sapphire crystal, the lightweight. And so for me, this is a watch that lends itself to being used as a work watch or not a beater watch. I wouldn't necessarily go and use it for doing rock work or anything with, high abrasives like rock or sand or pebbles, things like that. But I would have no hesitation doing, shrubs, trimming trees, cutting down firewood, splitting firewood. The splitting part, I am hesitant with any mechanical watch, automatic watch when it comes to splitting firewood because of just the immediate shock of hammering something over and over and over again. I just don't think it's necessary. Put the watch in your pocket, split the wood, put the watch back on when you're done. That's what I usually do. So as far as the finish goes, I love it. The dark dial, the black dial is awesome. The numbers are finished really well. The crown, I said, is really easy to get a hold of. The hands on this are really finished well. I think the size is the perfect size. And the red tipped second hand, I think that is just a feature on most watches. I'm attracted to that as far as just an added differentiation. It's an added finish piece. It just kind of finishes everything out. It adds just a tiny bit of color to the dial. Accuracy is good. It came regulated from the factory, so I'm not sure how much better it could actually get for the price. And this is another piece to the overall value of the watch, that not only are you getting a good watch, you get some paperwork that shows that it's been regulated in I think 5 or 6 different positions, crown positions. So it's an absolute solid performer. This is a awesome watch to wear out in the field, to wear around the house, even to work. Legibility and LUME, this is where it really shines. You know, Swiss Watch Company is known for their applications of LUME, for their AR coating on the crystal. My wife even commented that the crystal doesn't even look like it's there. It looks like it's gone, like you're looking directly at the dial. So for somebody who doesn't really know a lot about watches, it was noticeable to her. The LUME is fantastic. Like, this is LUME that just shines all night long. You have no problem seeing this early in the morning at all whatsoever. The date window, I think, is the one ding on this that I wish it was a little bit bigger. And I wish it was actually over the 6 and the 6 was gone. It seemed like they crammed it together, which makes the readability or legibility of the date in that window a little more difficult to see. So that's one thing that I think, you know, it's just harder to see. I have to have glasses on for it anyway to read the date on most of those watches that have dates. But sometimes, you know, if it's a single digit date, I can pick it up. The sword hands are awesome. The LUME on the hands is great. The LUME on the indices or the number markers on the hour markers is outstanding. It's phenomenal. Water resistance, it's 100 meters of water resistance. So really there's no issue as far as just typical, you know, can you get the watch wet? Absolutely. Can you swim with it? Yeah, you could swim with it. I would be hesitant on any kind of deeper dive in the water with it because it's just pressure-wise, it's not really designed to handle the higher pressure. As far as the field watch goes, this is one of the best, you know, per dollar field watches that I think is out there. It's a really simple watch. Field watches aren't designed to be complex. They're designed to be simple. Tell the time, make sure that it's legible, have the LUME and everything on there that makes it more legible in the evening and dark time hours. And easy, lightweight, easy to adjust. It's accurate. There's like, I go back to what's not to like, and I only come up with one thing. It's the date window. The date window should be bigger and should occupy the 6. Like, they just tried to squeeze it in there. So what are the uses for this? You're going to see some video, or you have seen some video of me using it, setting up camp. And you know, I don't know of any use that you wouldn't use it for, other than, like I said, doing, you know, landscape work where you're involving high abrasives like rock, pebbles, sand, that kind of thing, concrete. I would definitely not, I would wear something plastic for those kind of things, a true beater watch. But this comes really close to just handling most of that as well. So it is very user-friendly from that perspective. The water friendliness is great. The bezel, because there's no bezel on the watch, the dial is even bigger. I mean, that's the one thing that you look at when you have a field watch. And field watches, to my knowledge, don't really have bezels on them. And I'm not an expert in watches, but I just don't see many, if any, with a bezel. So that much I think is great. It just makes the dial bigger. It makes it much more legible. And the converse is true. When you put a bezel on a watch, whether it's a dive watch or maybe it's a flight watch, and you have the bezel, it just compresses the dial. It compresses the numbers. It makes the hand movements more subtle. The second hand more subtle because it's going over a smaller distance as it travels. So those all get compressed with a bezel or internal bezel. So that's what I really like about this. It's super, super legible, really easy to read, good AR coding on there. Like, it's the reflections that you get off of this watch are minimal. As far as an everyday watch, this is in the top of the category for everyday watch, right up there with the Steel Dive Willard that I have. The Casios for sure are everyday watches. They just don't have the class, you know, when it comes down to it. So I think the Casios are truly that everyday, maybe beater watch. The Signum Cuda that I have, Seiko 5s, these are all the ones that I have that classify as an everyday watch. This is top of the list of the everyday watch. It's such a simple watch. There's not a lot to criticize. The more simple the watch is, it's like, what do you have to criticize? You have a chronograph with subdials here, there, date, all that stuff. You just have more stuff on the dial, and it becomes easier to be critical, and it becomes easier for things to kind of go wrong. So the simplicity of this watch is great. Overall score for this watch is a 9.8 out of 10. I give it a 9.8 because that date window, if it was just bigger, you've heard me say it, it would be great. Something else to consider is just the value of the watch. This is one of the best values out there. Money for features in a field watch package. I know I've talked a little bit about, you know, it's really simple, all that, but it really is, as far as the cost goes, for what you're getting. A high beat movement, really clear dial, excellent LUME, like top category LUME, excellent anti-reflective coating and layers of it. And just the titanium case, the toughness of the case, sapphire crystal, and lightweight. Like all of these things together makes it one of the best value field watches on the market today. So it's a powerful watch as far as the ability to just, you know, see time and keep accurate time, you know, legibility at night, things like that. I used it for camping. I was batoning some wood with a piece of wood in my left hand. I was holding a knife in my right hand. We're batoning. So like impact, you know, that's probably as much impact as I would want to have on a regular basis with a watch, is kind of that camping experience. So just let me know what you think. Love your comments. I do read them. I do comment back, I think, on all of them. I don't think I've missed anybody. And I think if you take the time to make the comment, I should take the time to comment back in some form. So appreciate it. And I hope everybody's doing well. And this is another Real Ideal Gear Review. Take care. All right, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a draw and shoot. And for those of you interested in getting into competitive pistol shooting or learning a little bit more about this, I'll give a couple of quick tips, as I am a pistol instructor. The draw, you want to break it down from the shooting position back to your holster. And when you do that, you'll see all the different movements that your body makes when it comes to drawing your pistol from the holster. So start at where you want to be and work your way backwards to where you start. That's one of the biggest tips I can give new shooters, even some experienced shooters who they come up and they're wobbling around with their gun. So this is a way to, you know, come out with the right set of movements that puts you on target immediately. You want to draw to the target. The second thing is, it's like, this is something I learned from TPC, the trainers down in southern Utah, and that is when you draw your gun, it's like you're reaching out to touch the doorbell, but you're not punching your finger obviously through the doorbell. So when I draw my gun, I want to draw out, and when I get to that point of touching the doorbell, I touch off the shot. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the first few rounds. I'm testing the Revlot Hex Mariner 39 and the Islander 36. So we'll go through about 50 to 100 rounds of drawing practice on this, and we'll do a whole bunch of other watches as well. So you'll see them in other videos. All right, here we go. And you may see my English setter just take off running through the background. He's not quite acclimated to guns. He's getting better, but he's not quite. So every time I go out shooting, I take him with. All right, here we go. On the beep. And we're not looking for speed right now. What we're looking for is fluidity. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. So I'm going to be working on just the fluidity of motion. All right, here we go. And I always start with the hammer down. This is a double action pistol, so all my double action pistols, I start with hammer down, safety off. That's the way I carry them also, so we'll start with that. Double tap.